Every child is known by his actions, by whether his conduct is pure and right. Proverbs 20. Greetings to you all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ. 8th ICSE Physics Unit 6. Today we are going to learn a new topic, heat. Before we get into the lesson, let us learn some new words related to this topic. First one, anomalous. 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 Expansion. 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 Latent. 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 Coefficient. 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 Thermal. 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 Linear. 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 Superficial. 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 Cubical. 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 Anomalous. Expansion. Latent. Coefficient. Thermal. Linear. Superficial and cubical. In the first lesson, we have learned about what is heat, the effects of heat energy on matter, and also we have learned about the change in the state of matter caused by heat. So, in the case of a pure substance, these changes, that is change in the state of matter, occur only at a fixed temperature. For example, a solid changes into a liquid at a fixed temperature, which is its melting point, and a liquid boils at a fixed temperature called its boiling point. So let us recall the difference between the evaporation and boiling before we start to learn the expansion. In the screen, you can see the pictures of images of evaporation and boiling. The difference is, evaporation, it is a very slow process, whereas boiling, it is a fast process. And here in the screen, you can see that evaporation takes place only from the surface of the liquid, whereas boiling occurs throughout the liquid. And no bubbles are formed in the liquid. Bubbles are formed throughout the liquid in boiling, and in evaporation it occurs at all temperature, even 40 degrees Celsius or 50 degrees Celsius. But boiling, it occurs only at the boiling point, that is 100 degrees Celsius for water. In evaporation, the heat energy required is taken from the liquid and its surroundings. But in boiling, the heat energy required is supplied from outside. At last, evaporation produces cooling as the heat required for the process is supplied by the liquid and its surrounding. It takes all the heat from its surrounding. But in boiling does not produce cooling as the heat required is supplied by an external sources. So these are the main differences between the evaporation and boiling, which we have already learned in the first lesson itself. Now, let us learn about latent heat. Latent means hidden. A liquid requires a particular amount of heat to change into vapor state is called, and this is called latent heat, because the heat gained by the liquid does not show as a rise in the temperature of the liquid. Not only liquid that requires a fixed amount of energy to change into the vapor state, that is water into gas, A solid too requires a particular amount of energy to change into the liquid state. So the amount of heat required to change 1 kg of a substance from a solid state to a liquid state without any change in temperature is called latent heat of fusion. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a substance from a solid state to a liquid state without any change in temperature is called its latent heat of fusion. Children, I hope you have observed that they add ice cube instead of ice water in a drink. Do you know the reason? The reason is the ice takes the heat it requires for melting from the drink and the drink cools. If we were to add an equal amount of cold water to the drink, the temperature of the drink would not change much. That is the reason they are adding the ice cube instead of ice water in a drink. Now let us learn about thermal expansion. An increase in the size of a substance when it is heated is called the thermal expansion. When a substance, it may be a solid, liquid or a gas, is heated, its molecules becomes more energetic and move farther apart, and this causes the substance to expand. Conversely, when a substance is cooled, it contracts because its molecules becomes less energetic and move closer together. You can see this in the screen, and this change in the dimension, area or volume of a body or substance with change in temperature is known as thermal expansion. Now let us learn about anomalous expansion of water. The anomalous expansion of water is an abnormal property of water whereby it expands instead of contracting when the temperature goes from 4 degrees Celsius to 0 degrees Celsius and it becomes less dense. So the density becomes less and less as it freezes because molecules of water normally form open crystal structures when in solid forms. When water is cooled, it contracts until the temperature reaches 4 degrees Celsius and after that it starts expanding. And this is known as the anomalous expansion of water. The word anomalous means different from what is normal or unexpected. It is different from the nature. So since water expands below 4 degrees Celsius, its density decreases as it is cooled below the temperature. This is why ice floats on water as do iceberg in the sea. I think you all have watched that one. And the density of ice is 0.9167 gram per centimeter cube at 0 degrees Celsius, while the density of water is 0.9998 gram per centimeter cube at the same temperature. So the density of water is the greatest at 4 degrees Celsius, being 1 gram per centimeter cube. The anomalous expansion of water is of great use in nature, children. It helps aquatic creatures like fish and other living things survive in winter because when the water of the lake, for example, cools, it rises to the surface instead of sinking to the bottom. So when the temperature drops below the freezing point of water, only the top layer freezes. So as we learned previously, thermal expansion, a substance expands due to heat energy. Now, what is thermal expansion? Increase in size of any object like solid, liquid and gas on the heating is called thermal expansion. Just thermal expansion, again there are many types of thermal expansion and there are three types of thermal expansion. One is expansion of solids, expansion of liquids and expansion of gases. Now let us see what is expansion of solid. There are again three types of expansion of solid, that is linear expansion, superficial expansion and cubical expansion. Next class we will be learning about these three types of expansion. So in this class we have learned about what is heat, thermal expansion, expansion of in solids, and we have learned about the words linear expansion, cubical expansion and superficial expansion. Thank you.